Welcome back to the channel. My name's Adam Smith, and inside this storage solution, I'm checking out a Tinkering Paws insert for Cthulhu Death May Die Season 1 and Season 2 from CMON Games. As many of you know, Death May Die is one of my favorite solo games. It's extremely thematic, and it has you on the razor's edge of victory and defeat almost to the entirety of every single episode, which leads to a lot of really cool cinematic moments that make up the different episodes in the game. But this storage solution does a fantastic job of taking the original insert, which was comprised of boxes within more boxes, and actually bringing it down to a spot where you can just take the lid off, see all the episodes, see all the cards, all organized, and get the game to the table quicker than you ever could before. In this video, I'm focusing on Season 1 and Season 2, which come together as one insert from Tinkering Paws, and then there's another insert which comprises of Season 3 and 4. I'll be doing in a separate video. However, in the pinned comment and video description, there's going to be a coupon code that's going to work for the physical inserts for either of these, and there's some cool customization options that you get when you pick up the physical inserts. There's also STL files for those that want to avoid having them create the actual 3D printed insert and do it on your own. And it's worth mentioning that the discount code is only usable on their website, and it's also for only the physical inserts. If you want to go the STL route, it'll be a cheaper cost already, and the discount doesn't apply. So once you have Season 1 and Season 2's insert coming together as one product, what will this do for you in terms of condensing boxes down? Well, if you have the all-in pledge from Season 1 and Season 2, you'll be left with just the Season 1 box and the Season 2 box with a number of other expansion content merged inside of these. These specific ones that go inside of them is, of course, the base game, which is already inside this one, Season 2, which would normally be inside this one as well. The Unspeakable Box, a separate box about the size of this one here, has been fully condensed down inside of these two. The Black Go to the Woods expansion also merged in. Comic book extras also merged in. The expansion pack that came as part of the large Cthulhu miniature, that's been merged in. Extra dice, Frost Dice add-ons, those go in here as well. And then any crowdfunding exclusives and stretch goals from Season 1 and 2 all merged in. So now you have just two boxes across two seasons for Death May Die. We'll start things off with Season number 1. Here's a look inside the box. It's worth mentioning these boxes, both of them, support vertical storage. You can absolutely have these games straight up and down when closed on your shelf, or you can lay them over horizontal. I prefer vertical, so that's why this storage solution for me is awesome. I can keep my box art face up. Also, I don't have to dig underneath boxes when things are horizontal and cause damage to the boxes when pulling them out. Now, in terms of card sleeves, you can go up to 100 microns. You can have the thickest sleeves that you need to store your game and keep it protected, but I typically go somewhere between 60 and 100 depending on which game I'm sleeving and what sleeves I'm using, so this supports all of that, no problem. And also the box lids fully close all the way down on both of them. Now, as we take out the single tile that was laying on top of all this, you'll see a number of different dividers here. And what's really cool about this insert is the fact that you can actually color code the combination between the insert itself and the text on the insert. So you can kind of find a really cool thematic tie. So for me personally, for Season 1 and Season 2, I went with a black insert, and I have kind of a green, which is awesome. Here for the Lost episode, you can see for all the text on all the dividers and all of the markings for the different episode boxes you'll see throughout this, and I think that pops really nicely. Now, as you'll see in a future video for Season 3 and 4, I wanted to shake things up a little bit, have a little bit different of a combination of colors, and I went with black and a red, a blood red for the text, which I think really stands out nicely. You'll see that in a future video. Here's a look at the card storage for the Discovery cards. You'll see the dividers here are a little bit cut off because of the sleeves that I'm using. If you're not using sleeves, they're well below that. But either way, you can still easily tell which episode, which season that you're looking at, even from a quick glance all the way through. So you got Season 1 episodes 1 through 6. Then I've got the Lost episodes at the very tail back of this. And then it gets into the Season 2 episodes all the way through on the next tray. The next tray that came from right here has two cards for each episode all the way through. So you got your, essentially your episode card and your monster card. And there's no dividers for these. It's easy to find them anyway, but they're essentially all inside of here. And again, even with sleeves, no problem whatsoever. We'll go ahead and place these off to the side actually, and we'll dig into these other card trays up top. Next up, we have the Mythos cards. And again, broken down by all the different season episodes all the way through Season 1 to Season 2. And the final card tray in the back here has some Insanity cards in it, as well as the different Mythos cards for specific Elder ones. But you'll see there's a bunch of extra space. Again, that's because in this case, I'm using 60 micron sleeves, which gives me additional space to use for other things I want to store. We got a card tray here for the stages for each of the Elder ones in the game. Again, there's dividers across all of them, and there's interesting cutouts on this one, which just goes into showing you that it's not all squares and rectangles to make up this insert. That'd be the easy way. This insert is made custom in a way to ensure that none of the trays are going to shift around inside the box or move when things are in position. This next piece is a huge win for individuals looking for better setup and teardown time, because those episode boxes that were in the original release are now gone to the equation. The tokens and cards that come out of them, they're now sorted card-wise, as we just saw in those other trays, but the tokens are put in their own specified slots in this insert for season number 1. And I'm such a massive fan of these trays because it just makes getting the tokens necessary to the table for the episode you're playing so much easier. There's no more digging around those tiny little episode boxes with a ton of cards and a ton of tokens all buried inside of them in a giant mess. Everything is organized nicely and ready to go. And as you can see, it goes beyond the season ones. You've also got the Lost episodes in there as well. You got some Kickstarter exclusive ones. You have ones that tie to the giant Cthulhu miniature. All of them have their own spaces in here, as well as any additional promotional content. As we get towards the end of the season 1 box, you're going to see a ton of miniatures. And this is one of my favorite things about what these inserts do, condensing down the space necessary to store miniatures and also compacting them into areas that just make logical sense. So you can see at the very back here with the track system that they introduce with these trays, which I absolutely love. You've got all the investigators. You can clearly see them here on these track systems. And when you need one, you just simply pull it out of the tray. When you're done with it, it goes right back into the groove. Some of them are higher, which you can see here. So basically you'll put the ones that have kind of more of a straight line for the miniature base in terms of the legs, straight down through here. The ones that have wider, so for instance, if somebody has a dress, a low-hanging dress, it may not fit in this one, but it will absolutely fit in this one. So it's as simple as that to get them to store in. So you kind of have one low, one high. It also allows for many of them to be stored in a tight quarter area, which is cool. And the same thing for the monsters. Again, you can keep them in rows. So when you're called upon to bring certain monsters into your episode, you can just look for that particular miniature and grab the entire row and get going. So you can see on the opposite side here for the cultists in red, easy to grab them again as an example. You can just see all the different types of cultists in a row. You've got different types of monsters and more investigators across the different packs that came as part of the Kickstarter and the crowdfunding campaign. The last 2 trays inside the box have the larger miniatures, again slotted in a similar fashion, but again designed specifically for the larger bases. So you'll see in this case, this base here is kind of just a little bit raised in that track area where the light is shimmering. And then you go ahead and you place this one right here, and it actually goes in behind it, a very creative way to kind of get 2 bases that are large within a smaller space in the insert. In the final insert, we have a number of different monsters on different tracks on different sides of this piece. So some are slotted in this way, some slotted in here, and we've got one slotted in coming across the top, but they all fit in here nicely. That's a look inside the Season 1 box, and again, it has components for Season 1 and Season 2 because certain things are combined to make the storage of the game easy and accessible no matter which of the 2 seasons you're currently playing. And let's continue reboxing this one until it's completely full. Everything has its place. And again, the design of the card tray sitting on top of the token trays ensures the tokens stay inside the trays no matter which way the box is orientated, but that is going to do it for box number 1. Let's go ahead and remove the cover off of season number 2's box. And here's a look inside the second season box. You'll see a number of the dashboards, which are extremely popular as it allows recessed areas for all the tokens and the player dashboards to go inside of, and then a whole bunch of larger miniatures for the monsters up top. Now, next up, we got some really interesting things I haven't seen from other Tinkering Paws inserts yet. I don't know if this is the first time this was introduced or not, but essentially they have some lids here, but these lids are free. They just simply sit on top, but they're locked down by these brackets, which essentially just slot into 2 little slits, one here and one here. And you'll see the way this is designed to basically just go straight inside, and it provides almost like a brace to keep things between this box right here for the miniatures as well as the outer box kind of tight and closed, and also keeps this lid down, which I thought was really cool way of being able to have easy access to things, but also quickly be able to put it back together when you need to. If you simply remove the top, you can start to see all the tokens underneath. And again, this ensures nothing shuffles around. So do the exact same thing on the opposite side. We simply take the bracket right out, which is easy to do. And then you lift this tile up, and just like that, you've got access to a number of tiles. There's one tile that kind of sits over and has its own groove space to make sure it goes nowhere. There's little notches right here and here to ensure this one doesn't go anywhere, but the rest are all down underneath easy because most of them are rectangles at the bottom. There's only a couple that are kind of oddly shaped. And this one here has its own recessed area. So if we take these two out, you start to see all the other tokens that are down here and stored. When you remove these two trays, you see all the character dashboards at the very bottom. Another creative design for this. They have little pieces that are in black. Might be almost impossible to see, but essentially they're kind of like L's that sit in the corner, and they basically hug the corner of the dashboards, and they already hug from this one over here from the dice tray, which is designed with a little lip over here. So it basically creates an area where those dashboards sit inside of, so they actually won't go anywhere. Like they're kind of locked in position, which is awesome. Now you can get 2 dice sets inside of this area, if I'm not mistaken. I actually have 5 or 6 dice sets, and you might be wondering, well, what if you have a ton of dice for this game? Where else could you store them? When everything is placed back inside the box on that side, you actually have a bunch of space right here. You also have what looks to be about an inch of depth to be able to lay dice across. And as I have a ton of other dice, I simply just place them in baggies in order to lay them across the top like this. And I have a ton of dice because I bought enough dice so that everybody has the fancy frosted versions, because I'm an absolute nutcase when I'm playing with multiple people on the game table. Of course, when you're playing solo, you don't need this many dice. And I don't normally do this, but in this case, it was really cool and a nice surprise to find out the insert had more than enough space for all this extra dice to sit. Now for the miniatures that are sitting up here, again, easy access to everything that you need out of these trays. And again, they're actually divided so that you have a tray here, which is just a single tray that can literally just come straight out. Or you have another tray here that can come straight out, another tray here that comes out, and another tray here that comes out. So it's broken into 4 separate trays so you can pull out and access what you want when you need it. That's going to do it for the Season 2 box. You might be wondering, is this insert worth it? In my opinion, it absolutely is. This is one of the best ones that they've designed. I really like the touch of being able to have a certain color for the insert, which I always like to thematically tie to the box cover. So for instance, I chose black because the actual core game has black in its cover. Also in the core cover, there's a lot of green tones going on, so I thought the black with the text in green, the dark green, would definitely be the best tie-in to this one. And that's going to cover this first crowdfunding campaign for Death May Die. There was another one for Season 3 and 4 I'll be doing in a separate video. Now, both of these inserts for Season 1 and 2 combined, and Season 3 and 4 combined, are 2 separate products which are found on Tinkering Paws website. They also have the STL files up for each of them, so you can go after those if you have a 3D printer rather than going for the physical thing. You can actually have it created yourself, but either way, you've got options. Also, don't forget about the discount code in the pinned comment and video description if you're picking up the physical insert from their website. Also wanted to show you, as I did not show this when I was opening up the box, these components right here go on top of the Season 2 box. So basically you have the rulebook here, as well as some of the different paperwork that applies to different missions and the major dashboard of the game. They just lay on top nicely, and the box lid goes back on. That's going to wrap up my storage solution video for Cthulhu Death May Die from Tinkering Paws. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of this one. If you already have it, maybe the physical version, maybe you have the STL files, or you're planning to get it, let us know your thoughts down below. It'll help other people that are considering this one. If you're certainly looking for something that condenses things down, this definitely does. At the very end of it, across all 4 seasons, you'll only have a single box for each of the seasons total. So in other words, you'll have 4 major boxes with all the major cover art from the 4 different seasons. All the rest of the boxes disappear. Thanks again for watching, and as always, keep on rolling solo.